What's up, guys? Okay, so we have one trade left on the day according to our trading rules, and let's see what we can do. What I have here is ES, and I mapped out this breaker structure from this morning's price. It's on the 15-minute breaker, and it's coming off of this low, high, lower low break 15. We have the lunch macro, or the lunch sell side liquidity, which is the lowest low between 12 and 130 right here. So you can see us run up, take this buy side, dip down into that breaker, and then we are currently running for the lunch buy side. So the unfortunate thing is this is happening before too. If you look at ES on the 15-minute, we actually took that Friday high. But if you look on NASDAQ, we did not take that Friday high. So I'm going to expect some expansion for NASDAQ to catch up. I'm going to trade it on ES just because, you know, what happened this morning. I'm just more comfortable playing ES with my stop placement and my entry placement. So because we took two trades this morning, we're allowed this third one in the afternoon. We only get one. And we'll see. We'll see if we can turn today into a green day. I was feeling a little bit emotional in the sense of like I wanted to try and win it back. I was just a little upset that we got stopped out this morning. But I kind of reeled it in. And we'll see if we can see if we can do something good. Find something viable, a viable setup. Yeah, so I'll be looking for expansion above these highs. So you can see on the 5-minute, we made this little low, high, lower low break. So I could see this coming back down to like around like to this fair value gap, depending on how. Got the dollar dropping in the background. Looks like the dollar is about to make a new low of the day. So we'll see. Again, I'm only interested in longs. It's really the same narrative that we had going into this morning. We're just going to see if the market structure wants to give us any context that this daily candle wants to expand higher, and if we can be a part of that. Again, like I said, this Friday high on NASDAQ hasn't been taken yet, so I could see further expansion to the upside. Not really interested in shorts, only interested in longs. I could see us pulling back on the 5-minute to at least this high. This high right here. Maybe dig it into this. We have yet to take. So the lunch high, the lunch buy side. If you find the next swing high after 12, it's this, but this is so close to this, which is so close to that. I'm just going to label the short one and know that we have those two for upside. We didn't take it yet. So I could see like a 5-minute retracement back here, possibly. Let's see. We're going to be waiting until 2. Find a little silver bullet action. I also like the idea. So we have, if you look at the 5 minute, we have this low, high, lower low. That lower low enters into that 15-minute breaker. But that kind of gives us this 5-minute breaker structure, this up close candle, which also looks like it could be a pretty nice order block on the 15-minute. I hope it waits. I guess not. So maybe what's going to happen is we'll enter this, and then hopefully the timing works out where we either enter this at 2 or it enters it and then forms a fair value gap to the upside after 2 that we can enter on. But for upside, I like this. I like what's happening right now. I think if we kind of take liquidity and come back into the range, we're just going to have like a range bound day, which would make sense ahead of CPI. No, I could see. Okay, so as you can see, we came kind of tapped into what this breaker. I guess I don't know if I want the charts too cluttered. Got this 5-minute breaker structure, which is also looks like it could be a 15-minute fair value gap. 15-minute order block. See, price dipped down. It stopped right at the top of this fair value gap, but it did touch the breaker. Let's see how the next few candles print leading into 2 o'clock. I'm also kind of paying attention to this down close candle. Whoa. Right here. Again, so we have this run up here. If we draw out 50% of a retracement, we have equilibrium right around here. So I wouldn't want to see this price get any lower than this down close candle. I want to treat this down close candle as an order block. Top of this down close candle is also still inside of this breaker structure. But again, remember, when we price moves, it doesn't move in a straight line. So if this is an intermediate term low, we're going to have to print a short term high next to it before continuing. So we'll have to pull back to go higher. Even on the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, it's going to be an intermediate term low. We're going to have to print a short term low next to it before continuing. Gonna take a look at NQ. NQ's kind of playing around with that. Okay, let's see how it treats this fair value gap. Okay, gonna enter off this. I'm just wondering with the market. Stop. Gonna have it below consequent encroachment. Mean threshold. Actually, I'm gonna put it right at the bottom of this candle that makes the fair value gap. Let's see how we treat it. Ooh, that was a quick one. Okay. Let's reassess what's happening. Okay, maybe we might have got the draw wrong. Again, this is a little tricky one because we don't have like a swing low, like the next swing is this one to be broken. So a safe bet would be wait for a swing to be formed to the upside and then you enter on the retracement. We also have this 5-minute fair value gap, so this breaker is also, we have a lot of bullish PD arrays right in this area, so I'm not gonna call quits on this upside draw just yet. I think, you know, it could have been just, I need to work on my stop placement. That's what it is, because look at this order block. If you had your stop at the bottom of the order block. Okay, let's see what price wants to do. I don't like that we close these bodies below this. And I want to see if how we respect this. Okay, I think we're going down. It got really sensitive off that fair value gap. Dollar looks like it wants to make a high. This is definitely one of the harder days of price action to read, I will say. I feel like that candle's frozen. Okay, so I want to see if price starts behaving in a way that signals this right here is this 5-minute swing low and 1-minute swing low. That's like the bottom before we send price higher. So how I'm going to do that is I measured out this order block. I want to see if you can notice these down. So we came up, closed above it, constitutes it as an order block. Came down, you can see we came down once to mean threshold. We didn't close any bodies along that mean threshold. So I want to see if price continues to respect that mean threshold. And then I want to see if price will move above this high. And I'll go in more detail on what that means. But right now I'm just watching this mean threshold. So now that we got above these two candles that respect down close candles that respected this down close candle, I want to then use them to measure out as like a propulsion block. So you can see us, oh, wow, closed above it, opened lower. Let's see what NASDAQ's doing. NASDAQ did something very similar. It also formed a fair value gap right there. Okay, yeah, we're also forming a fair value gap. NASDAQ doesn't have this. Okay, so we closed above this fair value gap right here. And it looks like we came down to the top of it. And we are treating it like an inversion. Okay, yeah, we're going to go higher. It's just probably going to be really sloppy. Kind of like how most of today has been. So this mean threshold right here is my line in the sand, and I'm gonna see if it wants to like be really sloppy delivery, but I want to see if it respects certain levels. See how sensitive we got off of that. Okay. Let's see how this next candle prints. Yeah, so kind of similar how this one printed above this fair value gap and then the next one opened lower inside of it. It's kind of like this one prints below the mean threshold and the next one opens at it. And these are just really sloppy signatures. You can read it, kind of like how I'm doing. So what it should do next is we should come up to this high. And then once we would print a candle above that, or just make a print above this, I would change the measurement, similar to how I went from this down close to these two down close. I will then change it to these two down closed. Let's see. Let's try and see if we can make anything out of this. Again, so when you do have this like coloring outside the lines on the mean threshold, I really do allow like a one candle exception. Like if the next candle does exactly what this did, like opens at mean threshold and expands above it, then I'm chalk this up to sloppy price delivery. But if we closed like if this candle opened and then closed below mean threshold again, I would use that. I'd be like, okay, that's like an official close below it. Got the dollar turning over. I like how we respected this to the downside. Again, once we print a candle body above this high, I will then use this. It'll be like the chain reaction. I am okay, so that's that 5-minute fair value gap we're in. I'm going to take it off just to try and clean it up. Clean up the chart, just know we're in that. Again, my points of interest right now are this swing high and this mean threshold of these two down close candles. Why these two down close candles? Because when they broke above this down close candle, I'm under the assumption that this is the swing low, the significant swing low. That was an order block. We came up, came above them, came down. Again, the mean threshold. That's looking like a pretty nasty candle though. I'm watching the body. I'm watching the candle body. Ooh, stayed in that fair value gap too. Okay, yeah, I think we're gonna get run. Okay. Just goes to show, when you have price action like this, it's not the smartest idea to trade it. I did break a rule today. I took 4 trades. My max is 3 on the day. So you can kind of look at that. Negative 100. If I followed the rule, it wouldn't have been there. It would probably be best to just step away. And I'm probably going to get a little frustrated because I want to depending on where this candle closes. Remember, the wicks do the damage. The bodies tell the story. Okay, yeah, so we closed one body below it. Unless this just shot up, again, it's probably another violation. Or it will be like a definite violation of the mean threshold. I think if we give up this low right here, we could definitely return to the bottom of the new week opening gap. Dollar, remember it will all eventually bend its knee to the dollar, which in the background looks like it's tracing a little bit. NASDAQ's kind of treating that structure like I was explaining a little better. So we have, order block. When we break above it, this becomes the next level. And you can see every time we print above that, the retracement never violates it. You have it here, come up down to mean threshold of this one, kind of rally circle to the upside. Yeah, just one of those examples. I felt like, in the morning I was like, oh, if I traded ES, trade would have panned out. And now I'm thinking, oh, well, if we traded NQ, we wouldn't have got stopped out. But that's just another testament. I mean, I'm saying it out loud to you guys. I'm just not really fallen myself. I started the morning saying, if there was one day this week not to trade, it was this day. So definitely expecting better price action for the rest of the week. Yeah, I think NQ probably go higher. So for the silver bullet, if we want to call it out, I would say right there. Why that? Because the draw on liquidity was to the upside. How do we determine that? Well, we made the low in the open, came up, shifted structure on the 5-minute over here in the morning, and then on the 15-minute, you can see it happened. During lunch, we retraced, went a little range bound. If you map out the lunch low and the lunch high, let's just call that the lunch low. So we swept the lunch sell side liquidity, and that means we should look for the lunch buy side. If you measure, let me get this off. If you measure 50% from the swing low to the swing high, we retraced back down into a discount fair value gap. As you can see, discount right here. It was also a 5-minute fair value gap. You can see it right here. And then we rallied off of that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm frustrated with myself. Just because we had the direction right, and we still lost. But that's trading. That is trading. That's one of the reasons why you'll probably start hearing me say today's just not the day to trade. I've been having a lot of fun on the YouTube channel, so I think, if I wasn't streaming, today was a day where I wouldn't even looked at the charts and probably would have walked away without the loss. But it's a learning experience. It's all a learning experience. And I am getting better at streaming my trades, I feel like, mentally. But yeah, so silver bullet entry there, came off the high. Then just notice how every time you go above a down close candle, so this is down close candle, it never comes back and violates the mean threshold. So came above it, doesn't violate mean threshold. See right there. It's one of those instances where it closes just below it, but then rallies up high. Right here, these two, we break above it here, come down, wick right over mean threshold, and then rally into the buy side. Yeah, it was really this retracement right here that got us on ES. Came lower than I expected. Notice how ES hasn't taken that high, but NASDAQ did. NASDAQ stronger to the upside. Cool. I'm going to log off. Get my mind straight for tomorrow. And I wish you guys good luck.